Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
What?
I'm just so excited, I'm sorry.
Cavi's just bouncing.
Okay, so, first thing first, thank you to our feral venerator of Moiraine, Lurks, Charlie, and John. We're recording today. We were not supposed to record today. We're just so fucking excited because yesterday came out the teaser trailer of the third season of The Wheel of Time, which I wasn't expecting anything. I knew that there was a big convention in Brazil. I knew that they were going with Rafe, Josh, and Madeline. I didn't know, I knew we were going to get a release date, but I wasn't sure whether we were going to get a teaser, and we got one.
Yeah.
Which is so excited.
We got that and also a release date, which I would have been perfectly happy with a release date.
Yeah, same.
Because that's something to look forward to.
And also they had previews of, I think, 2 different scenes of the first few episodes.
Yeah.
Which we have a little bit of information about, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what were your all general vibe about that teaser?
There's a lot of, snippets.
Yeah.
That last for a quarter of a second.
Mm-hmm.
I was counting, so I think Unraveling the Pattern was saying 59 shots, but some of them are shots of the same scene. So I had 54 different scenes on my side for a minute.
Yeah. It's, so I'm just looking at, because Watt Series, thank you, Watt Series, has a statistics page, and they have it at 55. So there are 55 scenes / shots.
Yeah.
Well, let's go through them one by one.
One by one, frame by frame.
We're not going to do that because that's going to be a 2 hours episode. And I've said that we were going to release that we had an episode planned for next week that I had already done the post-prod. And in that episode, we are this is going to be our last episode of the year. and now I'm just deciding, no, we're going to put this episode next week. So if it's a 2 hours long episode, I'm going to struggle to finish editing.
I mean, that's fair.
Well, some of them are incredibly boring, like Moiraine standing in the rain in front of Tarvalon. Who cares?
Listen, to some people, that's compelling as hell.
I actually have questions about that.
See?
Because I wasn't expecting her to be in Tarvalon.
Yeah.
Well, if they're in the fishfuck hut, they have to be in Tarvalon.
Oh, that's a good point.
But the fishfuck hut could be a dream.
It could be a dream.
It could be a dream. It's possible. There are so many possibilities. Oh my god.
I think one thing we can say is that the teaser has a lot of Moiraine. Actually, Moiraine is among the 2 persons that we hear at all in that teaser, and the other person seemingly being Swan. I think Swan is also the person saying the world is changing.
Yes.
So Swan and Moiraine being the only 2 to speak is very pleasing to my heart, I'm just going to say. They also have a kiss in that teaser, which gives such a main couple energy. I'm sorry to say, I know it's not going to stick around forever, but I am very happy with that.
I was just going to say, I'm just going to live in that moment, and I'm choosing to believe that that is a real moment that happens and not something to fuck with Moraine's head. I'm choosing to believe that.
Oh, it's definitely Lanfear fucking with Moiraine.
I said I am choosing to believe it, and this is where I stand.
I mean, there's some straddling leading to strangling going on in that teaser. And this is where my brain has been for a day.
There was a lot of choking. It's a lot of erotic asphyxiation shenanigans going on here, which that does not surprise me for Lanfear. But
I mean, when you look at the stilled, the shots, Moiraine is half naked with Lanfear straddling her. I'm they really went there. And I know it's a trick and this kind of thing, but damn, that show it's ballsy.
Yeah, it's incredibly ballsy for a show to be here's lesbians, here's more lesbianism.
here's lesbianism with a little bit of BDSM. How about that?
How about that? I mean, you got to respect Jordan's kinky vibe, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's an homage.
Yeah. But will there be spanking? That still remains to be... Is that a... Camille's like...
Do we have to talk about that? Okay, so is there a specific part of this teaser that you would like to start with?
Oh boy.
I don't know. I really enjoyed the scene, dissecting the scene with the Bubble of Evil, Rand's Bubble of Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was really, really cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious as to who is in bed there.
I know, because there's someone in that bed. There's absolutely someone in that bed, but...
I think it's Lanfear.
Really?
That would make the most sense.
I think it's Lanfear in the bed.
I didn't see anyone in that bed.
Really?
You have to lighten up the image a lot.
Yeah.
We did it on the Dusty Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
They lightened up the image a lot, and there's definitely someone in the bed.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely seeing... Okay, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm seeing those 3 fake... I guess mirror image in the book, whether it's going to be exactly the same thing in the show, I don't know. There are some mirror in the shot, and also I don't know if you've noticed, but when they exploded, it kind of looks like pieces of a mirror.
Yeah,
like when you're breaking a mirror, and that looks amazing.
It looks really cool. Well, I mean, let's talk about just visually. It looks like the visuals are on a whole other level this season, and I mean that
I think they look pretty comparable to season 2.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to disparage season 2.
They aren't season 1 visuals.
That is true, but I think it's just, it's obvious that they're playing, they're trying different things and figuring out what works with the whole vibe of the show. I think in the panel that they did, they were talking about using a spinning camera a lot, that it was used for a lot of shots, which I think we see that.
I mean, we see it for a lot of those.
Yeah, which is really effective. It's a really cool way to sort of storytell and show things. And so that's going to be really interesting. I'm interested to see how they continue to evolve and kind of form what the show wants to be. And just kind of set themselves apart from just another fantasy show, because I think they kind of have to, right? They have to kind of set themselves apart from being just like, okay, it's just a fantasy show. It's not. It is, but it's not.
It's a sexy fantasy show.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they did make a very deliberate choice with that teaser to have it in a cinematic format, like when you're looking at the image format compared to the season 2 teaser, which was a more typical, like 9:16:1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe that's also what giving us this impression that, there's a change compared to season 2. It may just be an image format that's also giving us this cinematic impression.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that lesbians aren't thirsting over Moiraine and her hat. It's a very lesbian hat.
It is. Is it? I mean, I'm not that kind of lesbian, so I can't speak for those kinds of lesbians.
You don't know what hats are?
I don't. I'm not a hat lesbian.
Is that like? Are you talking about the hat in the first shot? That's kind of
the very first shot.
Cowboy hat, kind of.
In the Aiola's. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Kimmy's like, I'm not impressed.
If it was a beanie, then you could say
talk.
it's a lesbian hat, like a queer woman one.
Yes.
But cowboy hat, I don't know.
Can we talk about Leandrin and Mogedion and the shenanigans that are going to happen with Leandrin and Mogedion?
I mean, there's also Leandrin and Lanfear.
Leandrin and Lanfear.
Yes, on that throne.
Yeah.
Leandrin is about to be stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, she's...
Well, my theory is that season 2 opens with the Dark Friends escaping from...
Mm-hmm.
Or season 3 opens with the Dark Friends escaping from Tarvalon.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because Rafe said it's like 20 minutes of women blasting each other with the one power and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually one of the scenes that was shown at the convention. And there's an article on Screen Rant that describes a little bit more the scene. And apparently it's a confrontation between Liandrin and the whole of the sisters, and Swan in particular, where I think Liandrin is trying to blame Swan for Moiraine and Rand escaping, and then she gets accused of being a dark friend, and her defense is basically to kill a bunch of sisters and then to fight against Swan. And then there's a change to of POV to Rand and Moiraine in Tarvalon looking at the White Tower and apparently knowing what's going on there, which is why that shot of Moiraine in Tarvalon is interesting to me, because it feels like when I first saw it, without the knowledge of that scene that was shown at Screen Rant, I thought it would be like a dream or part of the many visions that Moiraine is seeing. But it apparently maybe the season start in Tarvalon. I thought it would be starting in Falmouth, but
me too.
Maybe the whole crew is in Tarvalon.
Yeah.
Because we also know from Josh and Manon in Spanels that the season starts with the gang together.
Yeah, with their home but not home, I think is what they described it as.
Yeah.
Which that would make them being starting in Tarvalon would make sense. Like that description would make sense because they've all kind of spent enough time in Tarvalon to be familiar enough for it, and obviously they're together. So for it to have a home-like quality, but obviously it's not home to them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious about that comment.
Yeah?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me that Tarvalon would be seen as home in some way, but maybe.
I think he wasn't talking about home in a sense of the physical locations they were in, but more on after having spent so much time apart, finding your friends again, and like his ex-girlfriend who thought he was dead was kind of like coming home, but then both of you have changed.
Well, who was it that said it?
I think it was Yosha.
Okay, if it was Yosha, then I don't get it. If it was Madeline, then I get it because she spent, like, Egwene spent months there as a novice.
Okay. So wait, there are lots of dangers in season 3. I felt like season 2 ended on a positive note with everyone getting reunited. I'm just reading the notes from Watt series on Blue Sky.
Oh, okay.
What can we expect from your characters to begin season 3? And then Yosha's the one who replies, they are together. It's kind of like home, but it's not home anymore. I feel like these characters hold on to each other because it's the last thing that they have. So, yeah.
To me, it's about the relationship between them and not the physical locations they're in.
I think so.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's probably going to be some awkwardness between Egwene and Rand, which is going to be fun to play. I really love that this panel was about Egwene and Rand, like Madeleine and Yosha, because, I mean, we are currently rereading The Gathering Storm. We know their past is, there's so many parallels between their past, and feels like we are digging even more into that, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be fun.
It's really, it's so interesting to see them where they are now. Like, obviously the show, it's very early on. They are just beginning really their journey. And for us to sort of to read in The Gathering Storm where they are deep in it. They are deep in it. And to see how much both of them have changed. It's exciting. I'm excited to see it all play out on screen.
Yeah. Another big part of that teaser is how much it insists of Moiraine apparently seeing a lot of different future and finding out that if she stays alive, Rand dies, so she needs to die in order for Rand to leave. And I have so many questions about that. I thought that the teaser was amazing about that because there's at least 5 shots that really feels clear. Okay, this is alternate future. This is possibility of what could have happened or what may happen. There's including a dark EF5 shot that is stunning.
Amon's Field 5 plus Elaine plus Moghedien.
Yes. Moghedien just creeping in the background.
Yeah. I will say that it took me like 3 seconds to recognize Matt, and I was like, "Oh, you just look like that there was a guy when I was in high school that was definitely a ghost queer, and it just
that's what he looked like.
Matt Matt looks like the
yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, which I found very funny. But yeah, there's this moment. There's a bunch of lengthy, shocking or killing Moiraine, killing a very sexy scene in bed. There's a few different moments there.
I will say, like, seeing how they're approaching this season, because it seems like the arc of this season is going to be Moiraine dies. Like, it looks like Moiraine is going to die in this season, and as book readers, we know that happens. But it looks like they might not bring her back.
I kind of disagree.
I mean, the thing is, they have to play it this way in order for it to land for people who don't know what happens.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be, because we didn't, like, when I first read the series, I was devastated. I was like, well, that's it. Until a little bit later in the series where you're just like, oh, okay, so it's not it.
Right.
I mean, a little bit later, many books later, it takes a while to read Moraine's letter, and it's only when you read Moraine's letter that you have the confirmation that she's still alive. Even if there was like guesses because there was no body, but still.
I mean, once you know that there's Lanfear reincarnated, you know that Moiraine is alive in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
True, but even that takes a few books, I would say.
It still takes time.
Yeah, Sindane coming back takes a couple of books.
Yeah. And so I think they kind of they have to play it really, really close to the vest in order for that reveal to land. And so it's Schrodinger's Moiraine at this point. Like, it's like it could be that they're going to kill her off. It could be that the other thing happens. And she comes back. It's really impossible to know right now.
But that's kind of what surprised me about them making this whole teaser about this question. Because we have the context of the books, most show viewer won't. And Moiraine, for the first 2 seasons, was a major lead character who also, at the beginning of each season, were more or less convinced of something and then got told by the end of it that she was wrong. So I am basically in between. Is this a warning or like / a way to ease us into, oh yes, Moiraine is gonna die, and that may not be the surprising part, but maybe something else about this is gonna be surprising.
Right.
Maybe she's gonna be thinking that if she dies, and Lanfear is gonna have more easily access to Rand, and the surprise is gonna be that she's managed to remove Lanfear from the chessboard at the same time. Or maybe it's just a big red herring, and at the end of the season, she's be like, oh, maybe I was wrong then. And then in season 4, it still happens, so maybe she was indeed right.
Right.
That would feel incredibly cheap, though.
I don't know.
I think they have to kind of, if they're committing to it.
They're making a promise with this teaser.
Yeah.
Something's going to resolve itself.
I wouldn't be, the way that I'm kind of suspecting they may go about it is it unfolds the way that we think it's going to. Moiraine dies, but at the very end, we're left with, like, similar to the end credit scene that we got at the end of season 2, where, like, we got Moghedien and we got the reveal with the other Forsaken getting out. There's something of a hint that Moiraine may still be alive. And I think that would be a cool way of keeping people, because they have to, you're right, Camille, like they've established Moiraine and Rosamund Pike, who's a really big draw to the show. They've established her as kind of a main character, and they want to stay true to the story, but also how, and I think that would be a nice kind of balance to give people like, okay, yes, this is a thing that's happened, but...
I've seen some non-reader comments being surprised by how their promotion is heavily focused on the death of their lead character, because for some show viewer, like Moiraine is the lead of the show so far, which we would expect as something surprising. So it's kind of like spoiling everyone that this is going to be happening. So I'm expecting some kind of surprising things going on top of that. It can't just be that, yes, she's going to die at the end of it.
No.
Yeah, it could be like we see an end shot of her like floating in the Tower of Genji or something, or something to keep people engaged or hopeful.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the shot that we're seeing twice when she's floating, you could have a stinger with exactly the same shots.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it. I mean, that's that. Yeah. Maybe that's it. That would be cool.
Yeah. And also it would be very interesting because if she's seen all of the future and she's convinced that she needs to die in order to save Rand, then maybe there's a question of, are we still in a bad timeline?
Yeah.
Especially since Rand is kind of going to go dark in the future season.
Right. It's, yeah.
He has a downfall for a bit before he managed to get all of it. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think this, I feel like this season, because the number one, according to, again, Watt Series, thank you, Watt Series, Rand has the most scenes. So Rand is at 21, Moiraine is at 14. It feels like more, but Moiraine is actually only at 14 shots. And so I feel like this season, and they kind of started in season 2 as well, I think this season is really going to serve as like a handing of the baton over to Rand as sort of the main character, quote unquote main character of the series. I don't know, like I think it's, for me, it's landing so far. Like it does feel like that is like Rand is like front and center, which I know a lot of people were very deeply concerned about that for a while since the show started.
Well, in the description of the teaser trailer, they name Moiraine Damodred as Rosamund Pike, and then they name Rand al'Thor as Yoshio Sojowski, and they don't name anybody else.
Yeah.
So
they're trying to, and I think it's a smart, I feel like the way they've done this is actually very smart, because you have to start off with, they had to have someone who is like a bigger name in order for there to be a draw to the show. And that's not discrediting the talent, the unbelievable talent that is Rosamund Pike, because of course she is Moiraine, but you know, there was a dual purpose to that as well. But Yasha has really come into his own, I think, throughout season 1 and season 2. I'm really excited to see what he brings to season 3. I'm sure it's going to be great.
So quickly regarding stats, Unraveling the Pardon also looked at the repartition between Moiraine and Rand, and I think he had a repartition more around both of them had 25-26% of the shot. So they're a lot closer in his analysis than in Watt Series. And my guess is because some of the shots Moiraine is in are longer.
Okay. That would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense.
Maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
But yes, there's definitely a kind of a mentorship situation going on there. That teaser was very much focused on Moiraine and Rand.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like when we're going to get a full trailer, because that's going to be the big change compared to season 2. Season 2, we only had a single trailer.
Right.
No, we are definitely going to get a teaser and a trailer. The trailer, I'm expecting it to be maybe a bit less about them and a bit more about the rest of the cast, because there's going to be 4 main plots in that season. There's going to be what's going on in the White Tower, what's going on with the Aiel Waste and Ridian, what's going on in the Two Rivers, and what's going on in Tenchiko. Tenchiko and the Two Rivers, I'm kind of expecting them to be more heavily present in the second half of the season.
I think so too, yeah.
Which may also be why like the teaser is focusing more on what's going on in the White Tower and what's going on with Ridian.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, I think the Aiel Waste will kind of be an overarching location throughout the season. I think Tarvalon will feature more heavily in the first half, and then, like you said, Tenchiko and the Two Rivers probably more in the second half of the season, just so that things are balanced, kind of.
And Yosha mentioned that episode 4 was a big Rand episode.
So that's going to be Ruidian.
Yeah, I'm curious as to... I would be so surprised if Ruidian were that early, but I guess it makes sense that it might be.
I mean, when you look at the Shadow Rising, it happens pretty early in the book.
Yeah.
And it's we're getting 8 episodes again, right? I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, which is a shame, but it's Amazon. This is something that we have to accept, I guess. But episode 4 would be the mid-season finale. And so Viridian happening in episode 4 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Egwene's accepted test.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious as to who that white Aja person is.
Yeah, because I don't recognize her.
I don't either.
From season 2 or season 1.
I don't think we had any name White Aja sisters before.
Aside from Joya. No, Joya's gray.
Joya's gray.
I'm curious whether it's going to be Aviarine or not.
That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering too. Because have we gotten her casting? No. Okay.
I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited to see, because Leandrin obviously goes to Chinchico. And she dreams herself into the dream world as the Amerlin Sea. And sees Lanfear there. And that I'm just really excited for.
Oh, boy.
I think that's going to be an amazing scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lanfear is going to terrorize Leandrin. Leandrin is about to be terrorized in dream form and possibly in the real world by both Leandrin and Moghedien. It's unfortunate.
So I saw there's a scene with Leandrin in a red dress and red veil, and I'm curious whether it's a real scene or a Tel'aran Riod scene or a Dark Friends social.
Like a Dark Friends scene?
Yeah.
Because there's quite a variety of people in the room, including some people that, like, there's one person that kind of look like Sanchen. I saw there's, like, some people have theories that maybe Naomi in the background, because there's a short person there, but maybe it's someone different.
It looks like someone is following Leandrin. Someone's watching her very intently.
Oh, yeah, it could be Naomi. I didn't think about that. I mean, the scene clearly wants you to pay attention to this one person because they're the only person not in that drab clothing.
Yep. Yeah, so that's going to be very interesting to see. So one thing that I noticed was very specifically, or one person who's very specifically not in the trailer is Elida.
Yes.
Which is interesting to me. I feel like it's intentional now. Like they are intentionally, and I don't mean that, like, I don't want it to seem like it's like they're being spiteful or anything like that. Like, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, they're intentionally not showing Elida. I think they're keeping that close to the vest until closer to the start of the season.
I mean, because that actress, I can never pronounce her name. Shora
Agdashlu.
Agdashu?
Agdashlu.
Agdashlu.
Yeah.
Agdashlu. Shora Agdashlu could theoretically be not a big enough name to take over for Rosamund Pike, but could help fill that gap a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if you lose Rosamund Pike, you also lose Natasha O'Keefe.
Yes.
That's a good... Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, and also, like...
That's a good point.
So the interesting point is that even if Shoei is not in the trailer, apparently she's... there's... I don't remember which Amazon website, but there's
she's
some...
credited.
Yeah, she's credited somewhere on the Amazon media platform, which is interesting. Because I think that's the first official credit of her we have from Amazon. There's been plenty of suspicion that she's part of the show, but nothing confirmed. And that's the first official confirmation. But yes, Elida wasn't there. At the same time, I feel like in a 60-second teaser, it kind of makes more sense to focus on characters that we kind of already know. I think maybe the only person we really don't know that shows up are like Galad, which we seems to see in fighting in the water ground.
We don't talk about Galad.
Either Galad or Gawain. It could be either one of them, I guess.
I think it's Galad's actor.
You think so?
The actor, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's right.
There's also, we see Perrin kissing someone that is probably Fail.
Probably, yeah.
And then there was one woman that the fandom is divided on saying whether it's Elaine or someone else than Elaine.
Is it Elaine or not Elaine?
I didn't think it was Elaine when I first saw it, but now it kind of I just saw someone.
It looks like her.
It looks like her. It's just a decent disguise, I guess, if they're in Tenchiko.
eye makeup can change completely a facial expression of someone. And also, like, the thing is that there's some lighting that makes it feel like her nose is not straight, but it could just be not that there's a bump on the nose, but that there's, for example, a window whose lighting stops right at the middle of the nose, and then it looks like there's a bump, but the nose is still straight. So I feel like it's lighting plus some makeup.
And also her hair is tied up, like she has a thing over her head too. So
yeah, which also help because like the color of what she has on her head emphasize the eye makeup on top of it. But especially considering between which shots she is, like she's right before Egwene. So I feel like it would feel weird for her to be someone we don't know at all.
That's what I was thinking too, because I don't think we really got any like close-up shots of people that we don't know, like that.
Except Galad,
yeah. Which the fandom, no, like even if the general public is not aware of who he is, we know that okay, this is going to be a significant character. This is someone that we know. But
I mean, I saw his shot at first, and I thought it was
Maxim.
No, the white cloak that we saw a lot in season 2.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, no, this is in the White Tower.
Dane Bornhold?
Yeah, because I was like, yes, 2 white men that sounds physically strong and are good with a sword. Probably there. And then I looked at the scenery and I was like, no, this is in the White Tower. This cannot be Dane Bornhold.
That would be absolutely bonkers if Dane Bornhold was just casually training in the White Tower.
Right.
I mean, I like to imagine that's Elsie Grinwell in the background.
There you go.
Of that shot.
That's going to make Allie and Gus very happy.
Are there any other scenes in particular that we're looking forward to from the trailer?
Probably. Let me check again my list. I mean, I'm just... Some of the notes that I have, I've naked Moiraine with Lanfear on top of her, straddling her, kissing her neck. Moiraine is enjoying herself.
Oh my God.
Until Moiraine realizes who that is and Lanfear starts choking her, strangling her. Like, that's my notes.
The fanfics that this is going to inspire?
Oh, there's already Moiraine and Lanfear fanfic.
Well, there you go. Oh, I know there's already.
I'm on a Discord where people were just, thank you, Rafe.
Oh, Kimmy, I am on that same Discord, and I have seen the things that people are saying.
I know. I don't know whether you've read a lot of it.
Not all of it. I've read some of it.
It was very active in the past few days.
Oh, yes.
One thing I do want to mention is that we see also Alana fighting Leandrine, and then Alana crying. And Alana is wearing the same thing the whole time, and when she's crying, she's grasping for blue shirts that looks a lot more than like Maxim's shirt than
I don't want to do this. I don't want it.
No, but the sooner Maxim dies, the sooner Taylor Napier can come on this show.
You know what? That's a great way of thinking about it. That's an excellent way of thinking about it.
Oh, maybe that's why Taylor was actually tweeting about the show. Because maybe he's not under like a big contract anymore.
Well, maybe. That's a good way of thinking about it. It makes me listen. This show has done such a good job at building up Alana and Maxim and Ivan and making us care about them to the level that we do, and it makes me so sad.
I mean, do we think that Alana is going to bond Rand in this season if they're all in Tar Valon?
No, I don't think. I think that's going to happen in season 4. I think that's going to happen in season 4. I feel like it's going to be a little bit too much going on.
In the books, does that happen before the books or after the books?
Oh, before.
It's before.
Before, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, talking about bonding, we haven't seen Verin also.
No, we haven't. That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Like, now that I think about it, there's a lot of people that we actually haven't seen. Which, like, again, it's a teaser where they're showing us, like, the recognizable people, and the people who have, like, you know, I don't know.
And they were very focused on the tower and what's going on the Aiel side. We haven't seen, for example, anyone from the Two Rivers. We haven't seen the Tuathan, which I'm expecting we get to see more, because it would be very interesting to chat with them again before Ridian. Because there's some big revelation in Region that relates to them.
I was going to say, we're going to learn a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
What
else happened? We saw Avendasora.
Oh, yeah.
That's exciting.
That was a nice shot.
That was a great shot. I was not expecting to see that. That was a nice treat.
We see Rand with dragon tattoos.
We do see Rand with dragon tattoos.
And Couladin.
And Couladin.
Yeah. We see a big group of Aiel and Rand showing off his brand new tattoos.
Yeah. Actually, we have a pretty nice shot, like at the beginning, of what is probably a region. And the fog and all of the nice older building. I thought that was really pretty, really well done.
Yeah. It looks really good. I'm excited. We got what for me was a very stressful shot of Perrin, all bloody and yelling. And I mean, that can only be one thing from one event.
Yep.
And so that's going to be great. That's going to be really good. Can't wait for that. It's going to be devastating, but good.
Yes. Yeah. One thing that I'm still missing, kind of, I'm starting to need a confirmation that the Finns are in this show.
Oh, I don't care if they're there.
Because, so the thing is that I really, really love the Tower Rescue. And I feel like if we have a bit more indication that they're around, then it also like kind of confirms that the Tower Rescue is going to happen.
Okay.
So even if we don't get a stinger at the end about Moiraine, if there's a bit more indication that the Finns are saying, then I'm like, oh yes, Moiraine is going to get rescued. We're not going to skip that. Because I do think it's a pretty epic scene. So
I can see them including the Finns in the full trailer. I can see that being included, like that being like a final kind of shot in the full trailer of like, because it's, I mean, like book fans are the only ones that are going to have any kind of context for it.
Yeah.
It's not going to make sense to anyone else, but we'll know.
Yeah. Which also brings me to one of the few shots we got of Matt with a lot of scratching on his neck, which I thought was very interesting because, I mean, this is a Wheel of Time. Matt, we know there's a specific hanging that happened at some point, and we had some hint of that in season 2, and now we're seeing a shot with scratches on his neck. I'm like, this has to mean something.
Yeah, it's it's pretty much confirmed, if I'm not correct, that he's not going to be in Ruidian at the same time. Like that's not, he's going to be in Tenchiko. And so
that's my guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to, I feel like when that happens, because it's going to happen at some point. But I imagine it's going to be a little bit later. So maybe in season 4, we get that instead of in season 3, and it just happens at a different time. But it could be that it's just another hint of, say, like, hey, look at these things on Matt's neck. Isn't that fun? Wonder what that could mean. Anyway.
I mean, it could be a dream where he dreams about being hanged and he wakes up having scratches on necks.
Yeah.
That could be something like that.
Could be.
I mean, if like that was some pretty deep scratches. So, I mean, man, maybe you should cut your nail.
It's like, hopefully, Matt takes a bath and gets like some fresh clothes.
That would be nice.
That would be so nice.
I would love an entire scene of just that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not for seeing him naked. I don't find Donalfin attractive at all, but just to see that Matt character like bathed.
Yeah.
On the Wheel Takes Discord, someone jokingly said, so should we bet on which episode Moiraine is going to have her bath? Because she had a bath in like the first 2 seasons. And someone else answered, she's going to be drowning in one of her vision and that's going to be it.
Oh, no. That's going to be her bath. Oh. Oh. Also, I do appreciate that everyone in the trailer just looks absolutely miserable, except for Lanfear and Moghedien, who look like they're having a great time. Everyone just looks so miserable. Oof.
Yeah.
As it should be.
All right. Do we have anything else that we need to say about the trailer?
Not that I remember. I mean, there's always a few things we didn't mention, but nothing big. There's Elaine putting on a crown, but I feel like that mustn't been a real thing, right? That's probably either a dream or a vision or...
Or she has a crown as a princess.
Yeah.
Daughter heir crown.
Yeah.
Would make sense to me.
Yeah, maybe. We have been told that we are gonna get some diving into her family and the Andor royalty situation. So maybe it could be related to that. I was a bit surprised by that, but there's literally no context whatsoever for that less than a second shot. So and also it seems to be happening in Tarvalon, which is weird. But who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything else, or are we all good to move on?
No, I think we're good.
No, I think we're good. I'm excited. It looks good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Super excited for that. I'm curious when we're gonna get the full trailer. I mean, we know the release date. It's gonna be mid-March.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that the last episode will premiere on the Thursday of JordanCon.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is, I don't know if we're going to have an episode 8 panel because, like, half of the con won't have seen it, I guess. I don't know, maybe.
That'll be interesting. Let me know how that goes. That will be interesting for you guys to plan.
You're going to be there.
I don't know.
You're going to be there.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You're both going to be there.
I have other things. I have other places I have to go.
Okay.
Where my monies have to go.
Me too.
It'll be interesting.
Yes, for sure.
So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm assuming we'll get probably a second trailer in February, something like that. Maybe some BTS or like another set of poster in between or something like that. It may be quiet till like January or...
Yeah.
I was going to say, I feel like it's going to be like in January is when they're going to start, getting into promoting mode.
Yeah.
Because we're getting into the holidays now, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, big promoting session is usually like the last 2-3 weeks where they put a lot of things out there and a bit of a trickling the month before that. So, I'm already very happy that we got a teaser 3 months before.
Yeah.
Honestly, was not expecting it.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So, and it's interesting that this happened at a non-American convention.
Yeah.
It's a Brazil one, which really shows that Amazon is very interesting by its international audience. And like looking at US focused numbers is nice, but it doesn't tell the whole story. So
yes. Yeah, very true.
Cool.
Good stuff.
In that case, thank you very much for listening to this episode of The Queers of Time. We hope you enjoyed that. If you want to chat with us, we are on Blue Sky and Tumblr mostly. We also have a Discord that is pretty nice. You should join. And if you want to support us, we have a Patreon. And yeah, that's about it.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Bye, everybody.
Happy holidays, all that
Bye.
jazz. Bye.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.